It's got me thinking on the blessings, and every gray sky turned to blue. Oh, the blessings, oh, the blessings that like rivers flow to me. Oh, the blessings, oh, the blessings, some that I did not foresee. I've watched winters turn to spring times, seen daffodils once dormant bloom. My own soul has also blossomed, and what has been my warmth and food, oh, are the blessings, oh, the blessings that like rivers flowed to me. Oh, the blessings, oh, the blessings, some that I did not first see. Blessings, oh, the blessings, some that I did not deserve. Oh, the blessings, oh, the blessings are the last and final word.
All around the world. Yeah. Come on. Attention, this is my boarding call. Bags up there against the wall. Step on the flight, be there by the night. Get ready, cause man, we taking off. No doubt this world is mine. Find myself when I lose track of time. No, I'm not new with that. Got my crew in the back, I feel alright.
Take me to my city. Look at the weather, it's so pretty. No need to be quiet, I'm making this live, so won't you rock with me? Just step up to the London town. Look at me now, I shut it down. Gonna make this world my own, won't stop. Next up, you can spread it all go.
1,000 miles away, we don't care what the people say.
We don't care.
Cause love will lead the way.
Let it out, let it out.
Tonight we'll celebrate.
Come on, let's go.
Life is a journey and this is my dream. Doing it for UK, LA, Miami, straight to the Philippines. Every city is a dance floor. Traveling the world like the on tour. That's right, I do it for Be More. My hometown, it's all yours.
We're 1,000 miles away.
we don't care.
'Cause love will lead the way.
That's right.
Tonight we'll celebrate.
Hope my passport doesn't expire. International down to the wire. All this love got me on fire. Living my dreams past my desire. Let's go.
All right. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be in this amazing, transformative, chaotic, crazy world of ours. This is Metaphysical Meetup with Marc live here on the Intuitive Prospector page. I'm your host, Marc Lainhart, the Intuitive Prospector, who throughout my journey has always been curious of the unknown, what is seen, what is unseen, science, spirituality, aliens, Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, all the things that make you go, conspiracy theories. And we come on every Friday to talk about metaphysics and the journey and what's going on in your journey and what's going on in life. So good morning to my team. They're on monitoring comments to make sure that we create this unity through community space and time, avoiding any comments, negativity, or I just call them spam. And so my moderators do keep an eye on the comments as they scroll through for the next hour. And just want to say thank you. Want to say thank you to my team, my tribe, my students, my friends, my family, my wife. Today's really grateful. Kind of been a little bit of an emotional roller coaster the last week or so. And today I want to talk about perseverance. And so what I want to say too is I added a new song today called The Blessing. Her name is Ruby Amonfu. That was a song that opened up the show. And then, of course, we go with Let's Go by Giallo Soretto, and Tonight We'll Celebrate by Jag Mac. So those are artists that can be featured on my shows because they're not copyrighted. They're copyrighted, but they're not trademarked. I don't have to pay royalties, and they just take a copyright notice on any of my videos that I do here or on YouTube or TikTok or wherever I'm broadcasting from. So I also want to say good morning to my subscribers. Thank you so much for following me on this journey. It's always a journey of life, right? Life is that journey, the school of life, if you will. And I want to say thank you to my subscribers and those of you that join me on Fridays for the message, for the readings. And I just want to, I'm just feeling very grateful today for the fact that, doing this work can be tough at times, especially when you're helping people with grief and loss and death and dying. And, sometimes it can take a toll on a person when you're trying to be in service to help others, to help the world. And I'm very grateful today for the fact that I want to say thank you for my YouTube subscribers. I don't know what changed, but for some reason the channel is on track to hit 35,000 subscribers. So thank you for that, and liking and subscribing. thank you for following the podcast, Inspired Living. We are now streaming wherever you get your favorite podcast from. It's called Inspired Living. Just look for my ugly mug. And, it's such, I open that song with the blessings because I feel like I have a lot of blessings. I have one, my health. Two, nice cup of coffee. Three, roof over my head. Four, just the ability to be here now in this moment, the present moment. But also to say thank you for people that follow my journey, that subscribe, that listen to the podcast. We talked about manifestation and manifesting, the power of manifesting, how to manifest something into the life that you'd want and desire this last Wednesday with an awesome guest, Katie Miranda. And we actually did a summit last month on the power of manifesting. So if you still want to get that free ebook, there's a ebook start guide that Katie offered during the show on Wednesday. You can get that over our website, our Facebook page. We're now streaming through, like I said, wherever you get your favorite podcasting from Spotify to iTunes to YouTube to SoundCloud, Podbean, the list goes on. Audible, Alexa, just say, Alexa, open up Inspired Living Podcast, and that'll play that latest episode if you're interested. But I'm just grateful too, because excuse me, I've been doing this work for a while, and there's times when you feel like, am I making a difference? It doesn't matter. Do people care? And then, I find out that I was just awarded through Alignable, which is a local community here, that I was voted the small business person of the year in West Seattle for 2025. That's based on votes. I didn't even know I was in the voting, to be honest with you. So I just want to say thank you to those of you who did vote, or if you did vote, if you're part of my subscribers or my meetup page, the local communities here in West Seattle, West Side Seattle, who I've written articles for. But I just want to say thank you, because that's an award that I didn't even know I was in the running for, and I didn't know I won until just last week. So very grateful for the accolades, for doing this journey and doing this work, because there's times that, helping people in what is seen and what is unseen, from a medium, from a psychic, from a spiritual, from an intuitive, from a metaphysical, from a healing, from a transformational standpoint. I work with a lot of people locally and around the world, and there are times when I don't hear from them ever again. Sometimes they'll leave a testimonial, maybe a month later or a week later or a day later, and that's great. And I appreciate the accolades, because it just lets me know that I'm doing the right thing in life and I'm still helping people. But many times we don't get to hear the second half of that story. We only get to tell one side of the story as a medium, and it sometimes weighs on you. I think in the human capacity of human consciousness and our evolution and our ascension, or the change in the alchemy of who we are, it can be, sometimes you just don't feel like you're making a difference in another person's life or the world. But it really comes down to, I'm not trying to reach mass people. I'm just trying to help one person at a time, because that's where the magic is. And this morning I want to talk about perseverance, and then I'm going to offer you a sound bath with a little bit of waves that I recorded from when I go down to Mexico. I usually go down to Mexico once or twice a year. We have a place down there on the Baja called San Jose Los Cabos, and it's a great way to take my burdens and my barriers and my grief and my sadness to the Sea of Cortez, and release that to Mother Nature, release that to the ocean. I can do it here in the Puget Sound when I get in the cold ass water too. But I allow the sparkle to come back, because this work can be very heavy at times, especially when you're dealing with emotions of maybe a loved member that was sick from cancer, or sick from multiple sclerosis, or killed for murder. All three aspects I can relate to directly, or had a near-death experience, which I can relate to directly. And so what I do is I go down to Mexico and I release that burden, that heaviness, that heavy suitcase of working and doing this work, and that perseverance. And then I allow the sea to return, and I take the stone with me and I put it on the beach, and it's to return the sparkle. And so last week I wasn't on, and I apologize, because I was pretty just emotionally drained, and really didn't have the inspiration or the energy to come on and share with you all of what I've been going through. And I've been dealing with something legally since 2023, since October of 2023. It's a federal case. I can't really talk about it, but I've been involved with it. First time ever in my life, lawyers, federal case. And it's been going on for over a year. So, and we're kind of getting to the head. We're kind of coming to hopefully a trial date, and hopefully we can, put a a cork in this and kind of move this past. But it's kind of like reliving my past from the last year and a half as I moved out of what I did federally into medical retirement to do all of this that I do now, and writing and podcasting and consulting and traveling, right, workshops. But there was some things that triggered for me last week, and I want to talk with you about that. I want to be just real raw and transparent with you. And good morning, Jane. Good morning, Misha. Good morning to my mom. And I want to start off with a quote because what I'm sure that you've all have had your moments, and you're like, how do you keep going? How do you keep persevering? How do you keep rising above when the world just seems to be taking? The world is a vampire. It always takes, right? The world, if you focus on that, can be chaotic and ugly and harming and hurting others. And that is the reality of our world. There's things that happen every single day, but I don't try to focus on that. I actually try to focus on what the good things that we could bring to the planet. And being accepting of what is. That's a big part of healing. And so, when it comes to, working with, perseverance, there is that old adage, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? And let's see here. Facebook's a little slow. My apologies. Hi, Rafe. Hi, Estella. So let me come back to the page. It doesn't. Okay, there we go. Because it just showed my picture. I was like, did I not turn my video on? But it's how does one persevere? And I want to start with a few quotes just to help you on your journey, because it does feel like every day we wake up, there's something new that's dropping, right? There's drinking from the fire hose, whether it's from social media or from the media. What I always say, the biased media. I really try to follow my news source from stuff that's more moderate in the center. In fact, I actually follow a great Smart News is what I follow, and another news cycle called Ground News. And what it does, it presents articles of what's going on in the world, but it actually at below, it has like, what's the bias towards? Is it more left leaning? Is it more right leaning? Is it more central? So it'll have a blue, a white, and a red. And so then I can look at the article, and then I already know what kind of bias does it already have. And that's where be careful of what you're taking in, right? And be careful of what you're hearing and what you're watching, because it can, play a role in your thoughts and your actions and your behaviors, right? So I really try to, be mindful of what it is that I'm taking in as a person. And, persevering this last year for me has been one of the most challenging years in my journey, not only just with the change in careers, which I'm very grateful and thankful for, but also just major surgeries that I'm still recovering and rehabbing from. But again, what doesn't kill you will make you stronger. There's that old adage, there's that old saying, and perseverance is taking that next step. And this moment that we're joining today in community and on this Friday, it's this moment that leads you to the next moment, right? And then that next moment, because the future is not guaranteed. We can't change the past. The future is guaranteed to nobody. And so what you do is you realize, okay, what can I do in this moment that I have, this moment of time, right? And, it's Walter Elliott said this. He said, quote, "Perseverance is not a long race. It is many short races, one after another." And so, when you feel like the world is against you, or you just feel like you're carrying this heavy burden, I've been carrying this legal lawsuit for over a year. So I've been carrying this burden, and I was talking with my spiritual counselor, my spiritual guru, Tom, that, helps me, we meet every couple of weeks, and he gives me perspective, and he helps me to see something. And we did an exercise about what's this barrier? Where is this lack of energy, this lack of inspiration coming from? Because even though I can be very inspirational on my podcast or these shows or my articles, there are times in the human condition where you just feel like, is it making a difference? Is it enough? And, Confucius reminds us, quote, "It doesn't matter how slowly you go, as long as you do not stop." And so today's message is all about perseverance, and it's about the struggle, and it's about the awareness and the acceptance to what is happening in the world. You may not agree with the things that are going on in the world, but acceptance, awareness of what's going on in the world, and acceptance helps with healing. It helps with moving forward. It helps, like Confucius said, it's not a matter of how slowly you're going, just don't stop. And we talked about this on the podcast with my special guest that was on, and great show if you want to check it out. The power of manifesting. What does manifesting mean? And manifesting, really, if you put parentheses behind the word manifesting, it's about perseverance and patience, the P and P's that I talk about, perseverance and patience to manifest. And I asked Katie, I said, Katie, why, let's role play. I'm a client and I've been trying to manifest. I have positive mantras, believe it, see it, achieve it. I pray, thought going out. I meditate, listening back to what spirit, what God, what the universe has to say to me in my perspective of what God is. Whatever God is for you, we'll leave that to you. But it's not working. Things aren't happening. And the number one thing the reason that people don't manifest is because they do give up. They do stop. They do stop putting intentions to ascensions to their dreams and their desires and their wants and the life they want. And I said, wow, so that's pretty powerful, because I've been manifesting this concept of the intuitive prospector and consciousness and spirituality and intuition and healing and transformation and alchemy and psychic and mediumship and helping people out and being of service to others in our planet. I've been doing this since 2013, and I kept going, but there are times that I wanted to give up. There are times that I was just like, is it really am I reaching anybody? Does it make a difference? And the answer is yes, because I'm not stopping. And because I kept the course, because I persevered, because I had patience, there's power in patience, and what I call prospecting power. It was allowing me to manifest what I can do now today, financially, emotionally, spiritually, materially. And it's a blessing. It really is. And I've thought about, what if I had given up? What if I had stopped and not kept going and not persevered? I wouldn't be talking with you with the same mindset and concept and experiences, right? Because we are the sum of our experiences. And many times, Thomas Edison said this. He said, many of life's failures are people who do not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. And if you know Thomas Edison, he always talked about, you can fail 10,000 times, but it just takes that one time to create the light bulb, which changes the world, right? And I always say, don't give up on yourself. Persevere. We are our own worst critics. Self-sabotage, the voice in our head, because that's who we talk to the most. And if I can encourage you and inspire you today, is to keep going, is to not give up, is to persevere. And trust me, there are many times in my journey that I've wanted to give up, with the loss of my brothers, the loss of my father-in-law, my own near-death experience this last year with the lawsuit and my major surgeries and my medical condition and rehabilitation. But something inside me says it's that one light bulb moment that's all it's going to need to help change the world. If we apply a sports context to this, Vince Lombardi said this: the difference between a successful person and others is not a lack of strength, not a lack of knowledge, but rather a lack of will. So if you're catching me today, I'm here on most Fridays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can learn more about me at marclainhart.com, or just internet search the Intuitive Prospector, and you'll pull up all sorts of diamonds and gems that I've been working on the last decade. But it's a lack of will. And so if I can encourage you and inspire you and motivate you today, is to not give up, is to find perseverance. And I'm going to give you some tips to help you along with that journey, because it's a marathon. It's not a sprint, y'all. And when you wake up and you see what's going on in the world and the chaos and the ugliness and the hatred and the harm, especially if you're empathic, especially if you're sensitive. We worked on this in my group on Wednesday, talking about the deep seat of empathy. I always finish my shows with be kind, caring, compassionate, find the diamond within. And, there's that Japanese proverb, fall 7 times, stand up 8. And I've talked about perseverance in my journey a lot. And, along the way, the only way that you're going to get through something, because as I was talking with my counselor this morning, we were talking about, what's this barrier? What is this barrier that is, draining like a vampire? It's draining my emotions. It's taking my mindset and these thoughts. And it's this legal case that I've been dealing with since October of 2023. I retired last year, April this time last year. I don't know if I'm really retired. I'm actually more busier now, not working for the man than when I was working for the man. But it's, you know, it's almost been a year and I'm still dealing with this past and the treatment and all the details that have gone into this, you know. And now the judge is going to make a decision to either move forward to trial or dismiss the case because of, you know, maybe lack of evidence, or I wouldn't say there's lack of evidence. The record of incidents is over 1,000 pages long now. So there's well documented with sworn declarations. But as I did this self-examination, and this is what we're going to do today, this is going to help you today, is we're going to do a sound bath with the sound of the ocean. And I'm going to put up a picture and allow you to see what barriers are keeping you in that, you know, that struggle of not wanting to persevere, not wanting to continue on. And I'll give you some tips along the way, things that I've used in my own journey. But there are times when we're going to have our down moments and we're not going to feel excited or happy. You know, I should be excited for this major award that I just got. And I was telling my counselor, I'm like, why am I not excited about it? It's an accolade showing that the work that I am doing is making a difference in my local community, with my clients, with my students, but I'm not finding it happy. And it's because I'm holding on to something of an outcome that I can no longer control. And what I mean by that is there's this fear, and you can do this during the meditation, to look within, because it really is about your journey, not what somebody tells you or where somebody leads you. It's about your following you through free will and choice. But when I looked within, I saw this like wall, like the Great Wall of China or the Berlin Wall, this barrier that is a barrier of fear. And it's a fear of wanting the outcome to be the way I want it to be, the way the ego wants it to be, right? And the fear that now that this case resides with one person and her team, I'm sure she's not going to read through the 1,000 pages of record of incident, also known as an ROI. She'll probably have her staff members read through a lot of the facts and the details and the findings and, you know, the he said, she said, right? Because, you know, that's the lowest form of legality. And so when I looked within, I was able to take a brick out of that wall. You know, I'm just thinking another brick in the wall by Pink Floyd. And as I moved the bricks away, I was able to have a breath of fresh air come running in. I could look through the hole and I could see green and nature and rolling mountains with grass and sunshine and, you know, butterflies and everything that was good, right? And that barrier I created myself because I'm worrying about something that I can no longer control the outcome to. You know, the judge could sign off and say this case is dismissed, summary judgment gone, and I don't have an outcome to what I wanted. Or she can sign and say, no, there's enough factual evidence here, which she's already mentioned back in December, to say we need to move forward to trial, to hold people accountable, right? This is not something I've ever been involved with in my career, and I've never had to take these steps. However, to persevere is to also see the vision, to stay the course, to trust thyself, to have power and patience. And, you know, we're going to stay the course because it's, you know, Julie Andrews, if you know the great actress Julie Andrews, perseverance is falling 19 times and succeeding the 20th. And so when I looked within, the barrier was self-created by my mindset and my ego of my wants and desires. And, you know, when we have expectations, it was a fear of abandonment. It was the fear of being let down, because a lot of times, be honest with yourself, most times humans do let us down. I always say expectations usually lead us to self-disappointment. And I'm leading myself to self-disappointment because I'm trying to have control of an outcome that no longer is in my control. It's in the hands of a judge, and it's in the hands of her team to look through the information and present that, yes, there is a case to move to trial, or no, there's not, and we will move to a summary judgment and dismiss the case. So I've been dealing with that for the last week and a half, working on legal stuff that, again, I've never had to do, and it's a lot of time and effort. And, you know, just that past coming up and triggering since 2023. So once I realized that I'm creating my own burden, I'm creating my own wall, it comes back to being in the moment. To persevere and to manifest, to prospecting power, is to come back to the moment and not be focused. And I teach on this, and I talk on this, and I write on this, and I podcast on this, but I can even fall into my own traps of worrying about or having fear about an outcome that has not yet manifested in a future context. So it's taking that time to disconnect, taking a deep breath, come back into the present moment, and not put my energy or focus or consciousness into a construct that has not yet developed or has incarnated. And it definitely, what's happened in the past is the past. And so it becomes that to know thyself, to I am, I think, therefore I am, and be in the present moment. And what makes you stronger, what builds perseverance, is the lessons that we learn. Not good, not bad, not indifferent, but the lessons that we learn that helps create that. I think that age begets knowledge and wisdom and patience. And there's those things of accepting the harshness of the world, that there is harshness in our world, accepting that there are horrible people making horrible decisions and horrible moves that you just don't agree with. But then you fall into that trap of, well, now you're angry on something that you can't control. And when you say, I've got to just accept that person or that situation or the world as it is, because it now allows me to let go of that and create a space where I can move into, what can I do with the time that I have? What can I do with the skills that I have to make a difference in at least one person's life? If I'm making a difference on your life today, then mission accomplished, right? But we have the evil twins that follow us when we are not necessarily creating and consuming whatever that may be, the physical world consumption, the consumption of media, the consumptions of social media, the consumptions of what other people say about you, consumption of what you say about yourself. And the evil twins that are a part of that are, anxiety and depression, and something that I've worked with for many years now to overcome from my past experiences, the sum of my experiences, and to say, you know what, these are the sum of my experiences. However, if I have awareness to it and I have acceptance to what is, that helps me to transform, to ascend, and to heal. And, accepting the harshness of the world or the horrible people that reside in this world, because there are two types of people, those that are in service to others in the world and those that are in service to themselves. And I'm sure you could think about friends and families and coworkers, and you can see that. I've never been a person to be in service to myself. From my time in the Coast Guard, my time as a firefighter, my time as a teacher, my time here now as a spiritualist, to be in service to help others, to help them prospect for the diamond within and the many hidden gems all around us. But the only way to get through it is to have awareness to it and accept it. You can disagree with it all you want, but the acceptance is the release. The acceptance is the, oh, okay, I accept that, but I'm not going to put any time or energy into it, right? So, in the end, it's going to be yours to own, is what I'm saying. So this moment, do you want to own this moment, or do you want to give your time and space and energy and mindset to something or someone that really has no impact on your life, or they don't engage in your life, right? And so that's the chaos of human. That's the chaos of consciousness. And there's a lot of good things in the world, but you put the human fingerprint on it, and a lot of things can go really wrong and really bad really quick, right? Because each person has their own thought process and free will and choice. But today for perseverance, I want to share a couple things to overcome if you're dealing with the evil twins of depression and anxiety because of the lack of perseverance and not being able to manifest because you didn't have the discipline, the dedication, the perseverance, or the patience to manifest the changes that you want to make in your life. And I always talk about the power of three, the 3 season life. Make a choice, take a chance, experience the change. But you can only do that based on your free will and your choice. And so first and foremost, especially in this challenging world, we are living in a very challenging world. And if you think it's challenging now, buckle up, y'all. Robotics, artificial intelligence, which is artificial intelligence now, but will become some sort of conscious intelligence in the future as we evolve our consciousness, our technology, our connections to one another. And AI is going to change that. There's a lot of paradigm shifts that are going to be taking place in what I call the roaring 20s of transformation. I started talking and writing and podcasting about this in 2017, that this decade of the roaring 20s, we're in the year of the 9. So next year we start over in the year of the 1 in 2026. That it's going to be very historical, very transformative. And in the next few years, AI is really going to make a paradigm shift for a lot of you that's going to really upend the status quo. And there's a lot of things going on in the world right now that is upending the status quo, from politics to institutions to education to communications to medicine to travel to global conflicts, geopolitical politics. And it can be a very complex journey, is what I'm saying. But there's several strategies that I've used to help me in the prospecting power of finding that diamond within. And the first one is seek professional help. I'm not a professional licensed counselor. I am a licensed healthcare provider, so I can help you with medical intuitiveness and, but I'm not a board certified doctor, but I can help when it comes to the body, the physical body, the brain, the mindfulness, the meditations, the prayer. I have a lot of experience and expertise in those areas. But I would always tell you to seek professional help. Board certified doctors, naturopath, certified counselor, all who I see myself, but they're all board certified, right? Peer reviewed. But a therapist or counselor can provide support, coping strategies, and therapy tailored to your needs. Medication can help. There is modern medicine, but see how you feel when it comes to medications, because we have a will to want to over medicate too. And back in the day, I've always reminded my clients and my students of this, that mental health issues back, even just 15 years ago, can be mistaken for spiritual abilities, spiritual awakening, spiritual acknowledgement that we're more than just a physical flesh suit. We're a material being, but we also have a physical body. We have a mental body. We have an emotional body. We live in a material world, but we also have a spiritual body. And when you start to realize that there are things that are much bigger than ourselves, whether you believe in God or not, you're agnostic, atheist, death and dying doesn't matter. There are other things at play that you just don't see. And just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not here. You'll see over my shoulder here, there's a multimeter gauge. I keep that on during my consults or my shows to see if there's any change in the energy. And if anybody sees that light start going rainbow colors, it's green right now. But if you see that light fluctuating, that's because there's a change in the energy within the space that I'm, existing in, right? And so, seek professional help. Build a support network. This is very important. Surround yourself with understanding friends and family, people that understand, not want to diagnose you, not want to try to fix you. I've had people in the past, family members, friends that want to try to fix me. It's like, I'm not here to be fixed. And who are you to tell me what experience do you have to, fix me, right? But those that will just support you and hold space for you and uplift you. And over the time, I've created, an excellent tribe that we share every Wednesday of our journey and our struggles and our barriers and our hopes and our wants and our pains. And through that community, I call that unity through community, we can build that support network. So find a support network, sharing your feelings with your loved ones or your tribe members or like-minded individuals can provide emotional, I'd say, relief, but help you feel less isolated, because this can become a very isolated path. I remember when I was going through my very dark days of grief and death and dying with the loss of both my brothers, murder and brain cancer all within the same week, very overwhelming. And then MS with my dad, my father-in-law. And it was very overwhelming, but I felt very isolated. And I said, never again will I want to feel isolated. And that's a reason I started the Intuitive Prospector, the consulting company, to hold space, to help others, whether through its prayer or meditation or just listening, or, maybe it's a psychic reading, or maybe it's a mediumship reading where their loved one comes through with a message. But it helps to seek professional counseling, build a support network, practice self-care. And this is something that I had to do this last week, is I had to practice self-care because my evil twins of depression and anxiety were starting to build up based on me wanting an outcome for a legal case I've been working in and on for well over a year and a half now. And so when we practice self-care, we engage in activities that will promote our well-being, regular exercise, a balanced diet, if you will, adequate sleep, good hydration, coffee. Coffee is always important. But, just practicing the self-care, relaxation techniques, meditation, yoga. I practice Qigong. And one of the things that we're going to do today is, if you want to practice, I'm going to play a nice sound bath for 10 minutes with a nice picture. And this will be your time to connect, to go within and see what barriers, see what, self-sabotaging moments that you're creating with yourself because you're not being able to manifest, you're not able to persevere. And again, maybe those evil twins pop up of depression and anxiety, right? And one of the things that we worked on today was just self-soothing, just rocking, like a parent hugging a child and just crossing your heart and moving back and forth. just as a parent would hold a newborn. One of the things that I watched last night that really had an impact, and we don't know what people's struggles are. We all wear masks, but we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And for those of you that watch Survivor, the show, we've been watching it for years. Love it. Love the messaging, the human behaviors, both good and bad, the competitions. But there was a moment last night where this young girl has autism, and she only told one of her tribe members when they first got to the island. He is actually a firefighter, and during this moment, she's overcome great obstacles. And it really resonated with me about perseverance and strength through struggle. And it came down to her, and she had to do this competition where she had to move this table to get the ball into the hole. And it was against her, and she was the last person of that tribe, and she had to get it done before the other tribe, or who did get it done would go to tribal council and be voted out. And she kept failing. She kept failing. She kept failing. You could tell she was getting overwhelmed and emotional. And finally, they started talking to her, the support, the community. And she was able, they'd say, just breathe, you got this. And she was able to get the ball in the hole and finally win for her tribe. But afterwards, it was amazing to observe, because she started to break down. And nobody knew that she had autism except this one gentleman who was an active firefighter. I can't remember where he's from, one of the bigger cities. And she had told him when they first got to the island, if you see me start to crunch up and take my hands into a fist, I'm having an episode. And I just want you to be aware of that to help me through that. And so after the competition in Survivor, you can't mingle with the other tribe members. You have to stay isolated in your tribe after the event is over. And as she's struggling, everybody's putting their hands on her and tapping her head, but they don't know what's going on with her. And you see her like she's almost having a seizure, but it wasn't a seizure. It was a struggle from autism, being on the spectrum. And she was overstimulated, and her body, her mind didn't know how to process. And she just went into this mode. And all of a sudden you see the firefighter he was on the other tribe, so he couldn't go to her. You see him just get this intense focus, and he kind of gets into this stance like, I've got you. I'm holding space for you. It's very powerful. If you get a chance to watch it, it's probably streaming, or it's probably trending right now, because it was so overwhelming. And finally, Jeff Probst, the host of the show, who's been the host for the entire time, 20 plus years, he looked at the gentleman on the other tribe, and he could tell that there was something going on, observed it, and said, you need to go help her, don't you? And he goes, yes, I do. And he said, go ahead and go. So he gave him permission to leave his tribe to go over to her, and he just encompassed her and just started rocking with her and said, we've got you, breathe, come back to the present moment. And you can see, I don't know exactly everything he said because he was whispering in her ear. And all of a sudden you could see that she was coming back. And sometimes we need all that. Sometimes we need that moment, because that's perseverance, and we need that support network. But for him to recognize that, and nobody else knew it. Nobody else knew what was going on. They just knew that something was going on. And he finally brought her back, and you could tell her hands unclenched. She started to come back. She was saying, thank you, thank you. You could tell she was embarrassed by it, but at the same time, she's like, I'm going to share my story with the entire crew of my journey of autism, and how my parents didn't give up on me and pushed me and helped me to, they said I'd never have a job. I'd never have a relationship. I'd never be on Survivor. And I've done all of those. And here I'm on Survivor. And I'll be honest with y'all, tears were flowing. Tears were coming down like, wow, you could feel that. It was palpable about what importance it is to have perseverance and strength through the struggle, but to build a support network and have one person be able to identify and say, you know what, I got you. I'm holding space for you. And that's important in the journey of life. And after it was done, Jeff Probst, and I've never seen Jeff Probst ever, very rarely in the years I've watched him, he's hardly ever gotten emotional. And he said, what did we just observe? What's going on? And she shared her story of her struggle of autism, not as a weakness, not to be pitied, but to stand in her truth, to speak her truth in the strength of what she's overcome through perseverance. And I saw Jeff Probst get teary-eyed. He said, as a father, if my daughter was in that situation, I want somebody to hold space for her and step over and put the game aside and step into human empathy and human compassion to be like, you know what? And he started to cry. And so then, my wife and I are just totally bawling by this time. But for me, it was such an awesome human experience to be able, that's what perseverance is. That's what building a support network is. That's what practicing self-care is. Set small goals to persevere. Setting small goals breaks down tasks in manageable steps. If it feels like it's overwhelming, break it down to one manageable step. I've had to do this last year with all the legal cases because I don't speak legal. I don't know legal. I don't have an education in legal. So I have to depend on others to walk me through and learn this lesson. And then now to an outcome of, do we go to trial? Do we not go to trial? This is going to be dependent on one judge and her team. But we can also challenge those negative thoughts because I created that barrier within myself of an outcome that I have to accept whatever way it's going to go. And so it is, as we say in group. But when you set small goals, you're achieving small goals, you can achieve your sense of control, accomplishment, motivation, and be inspired to keep going on because it's this moment that leads you to the next moment, right? It's the marathon, it's the journey. It's going to be mine to own in the end, whether the outcome is agreeable or not agreeable. It's mine to own in the end. And that's the cool thing about this. Challenge your negative thoughts. Work on recognizing and reframing negative thoughts. If you want a really good book, I've got a great book here called Emotional Intelligence in the Workplace by Mark Kramer. We did a radio show on this, a podcast years ago, and I still come back to this. I've got a thing on 6 common types of empathy that we can work on. What kind of empathy type are you? Challenge your negative thoughts through mentorship, through teachers, through your tribe, your network, your support network, your goal setting. But when you challenge negative thoughts and you recognize them and you reorganize them and reframe them, then cognitive behavior techniques can help you shift your perspective and develop a more positive outlook. One of the things I love that I've used on my journey all along the way is when you change the way you look at things, the things that you look at start to change. Dr. Wayne Dyer said that years ago, probably 30 years ago, I first heard that. And it's true. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at start to change. So why I'm wearing my Scooby-Doo, You Meddling Kids t-shirt, right? Because what I loved about Scooby-Doo is there was always the mystery in the beginning of the cartoon, the mystery machine. They were called to investigate the many mysteries that are going on. But at the end, through their adventures, they realized the mystery was usually somehow backed by a human. The human was the villain. The human was the ghost, or the human was, pretending to be something they're not. And that's what I've always loved about Scooby-Doo. So be a meddling kid. Have that meddling kid mentality to be curious about life. Be curious about things that you've long questioned: history, technology, space travel, extra-dimensional beings, Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, multidimensional theory, artificial intelligence. Be curious about that. And that will help you to move forward with perseverance, because life is not going to ask you what you want. Life just happens, right? And it's about how you respond or don't respond, and how flexible you are or how unflexible you are. It's up to you. But perseverance and challenging those negative thoughts, setting small goals, building a support network, seeking professional help, very powerful. Engage in meaningful activities, like I just said. I've always been curious, and so I started prospecting to find the answers myself through science, through spirituality, through some of the experiences. Some have worked out, some I have bigger questions to. But when you engage in meaningful activities, volunteer, join a club, participate in a community event, helping others can improve your mood, your energy, and it fosters a sense of deeper connection. And that's what I experienced last night when I watched this with Survivor. I experienced this. This was taken all the way place down in Tahiti or Fiji or wherever island they're on. They're all across the world. But I got to experience human compassion and empathy at a level that brought tears to my eyes and brought the host tears, right? I've never seen Jeff cry. He's very professional. And he broke down for a second. And it was powerful to see that. And so, practice mindfulness is what I would say to you today. Mindfulness and meditation can help you stay grounded in the present moment, but can also reduce feelings, anxiety, depression, what I call the evil twins for me: depression, anxiety. Focus on what you can control and what you can't control. There are things that I can't control, so I'm not going to put any time or energy into them. But acceptance is a big part of transformation and healing. To accept the people that are in our world and in our space and in our reality and our media and our social media, but also accepting these aspects of life that are beyond our control, but concentrating on what I can influence, what I can inspire, what I can provide a sense of empowerment to you. This is why we come on and do the shows. This show, the podcast, my latest article, it's about to come out, called The Adventures of Curiosities and Coincidence. So that should be coming out shortly. But focus on what you control and stay open to hope. Hope and belief are very powerful mantras to hold on to. Remembering that change is possible and that change is the only consistent thing in life is change. But surround yourself with stories of resilience and recovery, and find ways to inspire and to hope. And before long, you'll see a change in your life. You'll see, what may start out as a mystery will end up usually as something that you just didn't understand in the beginning, and now you understand it at a deeper level, and then it becomes, oh, it wasn't as bad as I thought. So I hope that helps for today, because at the end of the day, you get to own it, right? You get to own this message. And so we're going to move into a meditation that I've set up for you. And again, I just want to go back to what Walter Elliott reminds us and what Confucius reminds us. Walter Elliott says this: perseverance is not a long race. It is many short races, one after the other. So right now you're just in one race, and that moment's going to lead to the next one. And Confucius reminds us, it doesn't matter how slowly you go, as long as you do not stop. So I'm encouraging you and motivating you and inspiring you today to not stop, to not give in. Don't succumb to the world. Find yourself, know thyself, go within, prospect of that prospecting power to reveal that diamond within. Because remember, y'all, diamonds are created under what? Extreme pressures and stress. That's how a diamond is formed. You're no different. So we're going to move in. Hi, Annette. Hi, Katie. Good to see you. Hi, Jacku. Debbie, hi to you. Just giving, hi, Ken. Miller, hello. Hi, Moshe. Hi, Chrissy. Hi, Alina. So just giving you some shout outs. Hi, Sheila. Good morning. I just found you. I'm into metaphysical also. Well, welcome. You found the right community in the right space, because this is Metaphysical Meetup with Marc, live every Friday here on the Intuitive Prospector page. And we're going to do a little prospecting now for you. This is an exercise to go within. I'll probably do a few readings, but this is really more about you today. This is about persevering. This is about the struggle to strength. This is about setting intentions to move to ascensions, right? And so I hope you enjoy this. This is the sound bath that I've put together with the sounds of the ocean. And if you want, what you can do is you can do the visualization of what I do. When I go down to Mexico, which I will be going here in just a few months, and spending 10 glorious sunshine days of vitamin D, get out of the Seattle weather, sit by the ocean, and release the stuff that doesn't serve my higher good, release the stuff that doesn't serve my higher thought or serve my family, my friends, my health, and send it to the Sea of Cortez. And because I do morning sunrise meditations almost every day. And as that sunrise comes in and those waves bring in that new energy, I bring back my sparkle. So allow this 10-minute meditation to allow you to go within to see what barriers or what fears, remember, fear is false evidence appearing real. So flip that and change the way you look at fear, face everything and rise. That becomes very powerful mantra for you. And just see if this sound bath meditation can get you to a place of transformation, healing, and revealing that diamond within. So everybody take a nice deep breath. We'll activate the sound bath. And just enjoy these 10 minutes of prospecting and power prospecting power and perseverance. And then we'll be back in 10 minutes. Maybe. Let's try this one more time. All right, we got to do that one more time. It did not want to do the share function. So let me try this one more time. So nice deep breath. Thanks for your patience. Try to do this one more time. I am a one-man show. So thanks for your patience. All right. Share. Preview. There we go. All right. So enjoy the sound bath. Go within, know thyself, and keep using perseverance on your journey of life. right, welcome back. Take a nice deep breath. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, wiggle your eyebrows, your elbows. Activate your chi. Chi is your life force energy. Science calls it the human energy field. Many cultures have different prana, chi, but you can activate your chi, feel your chi, live your chi, right? So I hope everybody enjoyed that. That's it's a sound bath meditation, a little bit of waves down from the Baja, and see if you got any feedback, any downloads, any glimmers, or information about how to persevere, or what maybe your own barrier is, what's holding you back. Because the one thing is we hold ourselves back a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and get the reading room open. There are some links if you want to follow the journey and prospect and learn about the diamonds that I'm talking about: manifesting, perseverance, intuition, spirituality, psychic, medium, whatever that is for you. Again, you can get everything right here at marclainhart.com. All right, so if you want to put in the comments any feedback of what that, hopefully that visualization, it's a beautiful picture. I took it years ago on one of my hikes. I don't remember where I took it, to be honest with you. But if that helped to overcome your anxiety, depression, to persevere, that prospecting power that I always talk about and teach about. I'm going to go ahead and open up the reading room, including the Zoom room. So for my team, if you want to, if anybody has any questions, let me know, because again, sometimes I don't get the comments as they come in real time based on Facebook streaming and algorithms and all that. But I'll do my best. But the phone number is out if you want to call me directly on my business line and have a chat. And it can be just about that meditation we just did it was only 10 minutes. Or just the concept of what I've been talking about: perseverance, struggle, depression, anxiety, how to keep going on this journey, that can be overwhelming. Zoom link is out if you want to come to the Zoom room. Just ask, if you do come to the Zoom room, please turn down the background show or your speakers, or just so we don't get reverberation, because I end up hearing myself. Same thing if you call on the phone. So Zoom room link is out. Yep, I just saw it post up. So if the tribe wants, or if my administrators, moderators want to grab that, that'd be great. You can post a question on the comment sections down below if you want to ask me a question. You don't want to come to the Zoom room, or you don't want to call me on my phone, that's fine too. This is your time now. This is my time. Fridays, I give my time back to my community and my subscribers and my followers to see how I can help you. Do I have all the answers? Heck no. Do I know everything? No. I actually claim to know nothing at all. So it's a good time out to take that breath, to take the time to disconnect, to find the time to reconnect, so that you can understand where your barriers are, where your fears are, where your lack of confidence is. And it's to know thyself, right? It literally is. I got the card literally as a reminder. I have body reminders to just breathe. I've got reminders here to know thyself, which is all about self-observation, awakening, self-understanding, and enlightenment. But enlightenment doesn't mean that you just get to kick it for the rest of your life. It means you still got to do the laundry, you still got to clean the toilet, still got to go out and tend the garden, even through enlightenment, right? So if you have any questions for me, Katie, you're very welcome. Good breathing time out. Have a great weekend. You too. Thanks for following. Thanks for the journey. Love seeing you here on Fridays, and any of my fans or followers, or subscribers. So thank you. Again, thank you for just the lovely feedback that I got for winning this award for Best Local Business Person of the Year in West Seattle. I don't know who voted for me, but if you're watching, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. So hi, Jeffrey. Hi, Veronica. Hi, Mitch. Hi, Clifford. Hi, Amanda. Teresa, hello to you. Richard. John, hello to you. Carol, hello to you. All right, few of you. Some of you I don't know. So if you want to introduce yourself, let me know where you're from. If you've been here before, first timer. We have people tune in from all around the globe, so it's pretty fun here on Fridays. Again, I try to come on most Fridays at 10 a.m. Depends on if I'm traveling or not in surgery, or like I said, last week was just a really tough week. I had no energy to inspire, to encourage, to motivate. But through perseverance, today's message, I was able to get back on and hopefully give you some diamonds to help you on your journey of whatever it is you're prospecting for. So I'll go ahead and just take a second here and cue up my music. And if there's no requests, then we will call it a day. Happy Friday. Have a great weekend. Last weekend of March, if you can believe that. We're going into my favorite month, which is my birthday month, April, which is all about my birthstone is actually the diamond. So it's funny that I created a concept and a business about working with people to find the diamond within and find the many hidden gems in life later on, right? It's actually my birthstone. So let's see here. So reading room is open if you want to come in. Zoom room is there. Phone line is open. You can come in and ask away. Or we can just have a chat. Grab your coffee. Come in and have a coffee with me. This is what I love doing, y'all. This is what I love creating. I don't like consuming anymore. I like to create, and I love community. So, hi, Tim. Jerry and Debbie. Hi, Jerry and Debbie. Hi, Maria. Thanks for joining in. So nobody has any questions. Wow, this would be a first. I usually get at least one. We can go to decks. I've got decks right off here. I've got 14 different decks. Sit here and play my piano. You can't hear it. I've changed my settings, but I'll move it over here. Right. Let me just send me a private message real quick. Hold on. I usually don't respond to them, but it's for this person needs to have a response. Okay. All right. So I don't see any other questions. I'll give it one more. I'll give it one more minute. Reading room is open. Again, you can come into the Zoom room live, or you can call me, or you can type a comment, and hopefully I get to it before I drop off. Because sometimes I get comments after I've left the show. So again, they don't always keep up real time. So scroll to the bottom. Hi, Amelia. Hi, Adam. Hi, Guy. Thanks for being here. Appreciate y'all. Today we're just talking about the power prospecting and perseverance and patience. The P's of life: power prospecting, perseverance, and patience. To really manifest. You know, persevering is also a part of manifesting. Most people don't manifest their dreams, their desires, the life they want because they give up on it. Don't give up on it. Keep going. But do it one day at a time, the present moment. Like I said, in the end, you get to own whatever your choices are and whatever perseverance you decide to stake with. But, you know, this moment will lead to the next moment. So I hope that you'll keep prospecting. All right, so we're down to the last minute. I'm going to start the timer. I'm going to cue up music. If there's no more questions, or hi John, hi Teresa. If you don't want to come to the Zoom room or give me a call, that's fine. I always present that. That's always an opportunity on Fridays to work with me. And if you're a subscriber, just remember, if you're a Patreon prospector or a Diamond Sub subscriber, those links are in the comments above. Next Friday will be the first Friday in April, which is April 4th. Those subscribers, whether you're Patreon or Diamonds Hub, if you're a paid subscriber, if you're a Patreon prospector not paid, then you won't be able to access. But if you are a paid subscriber through Patreon or Diamonds Hub, next Friday is, after my show's done here, it's Diamond Days. That's where you can actually come in and have a reading one-on-one, private, in the Zoom room, or call me. And there's 2 sessions on the first Friday of every month called Diamonds Days. First one is at 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. The next one's at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, because it allows me to reach different people in different time zones around the globe. But if you are a paid subscriber on any of those 2 platforms, those links are always presented within the group page. We have a group page for my Diamonds Hub and a group page for my Patreon, and those Zoom links are always presented there for Diamonds Day. It's a lot cheaper than booking a reading with me for one-on-one, but if you want that as well, you can go to marclainhart.com. So, okay. So I don't see any other comments coming in. So I'm going to start wrapping up. I'm going to leave you with a little bit of a few quotes to help you on your journey. Um, and again, I talked about Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb. 10,000 failures. Again, failure is first attempt in learning. It just takes that one moment to create the light bulb that changes the world, right? So Thomas Carlyle reminds us that endurance is patience concentrated. Endurance is patience concentrated. Same would be perseverance, is patience concentrated. And again, one of my favorites is Lao Tzu. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, a step that I took starting back in 2013. I started the Prospect for metaphysics and psychic in my graduate studies at the University of Washington here on meditations, manifestation, visualization back in 2008. But it wasn't until years later that I actually launched the Intuitive Prospector in 2013 and what it is that I do today. So Benjamin Franklin says, perseverance is the mother of good luck. And they don't know who said this, but it says this: when you feel like giving up, remember why you started. That's an unknown quote. When you feel like giving up, remember why you started. Okay. All right, got my music. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I appreciate you. Again, I'm going to close with one more quote. Not sure who said it. It's unknown, but it says this quote: "The strongest people are not those who show strength in front of us, but those who win battles we know nothing about." End quote. So I hope that you are having that perseverance and that strength through the struggle to confront and win those battles that you're facing in everyday life, because we're all going through it. And again, usually when you start out, just like Scooby-Doo, you start out with great mysteries. It's usually the mystery is solved, and it's usually pretty much Occam's razors. It is what it is. It wasn't anything mysterious. It was pretty much something simple, and it was our misunderstanding or our lack of knowledge that led us to pull back, or that fear energy, if you will. But perseverance isn't about personal strength. It's also about faith. It's about hope. It's about purpose, and it's about the journey of growth, transformation, and ascension, or we like to say from a metaphysical standpoint, the changing of alchemy of who you are. Because alchemy, before science was known as science, they called it alchemy. And so, if you can remain steadfast in your pursuits, if you can, trust the process and be persistent with that process, it's going to lead you to greater pastures, greater understanding, greater fulfillment. And it's a pretty powerful journey if you have the courage and the trust, the faith and the strength to persevere every day on that journey of 1,000 miles. So until our next soul adventure together, be kind, be caring, be compassionate. And wherever you're at in this world, I know the world is crazy. I know there's a lot going on, but don't put your time and energy into that. Your time is your greatest commodity. Put it into the things that you want to make a difference in with yourself, your family, your friends, your community, your colleagues, and go out and change the world. And I look forward to prospecting with you next time, if there is a next time, right? There's always that. Is there a next time? But dare to dream, dare to explore, dare to live, and discover that diamond within. And we'll see you next time here on Metaphysical Meetup with Marc Live. Take care, everybody. Or as I like to say, namaste, namago. Take care, everybody.
One planet, 7.3 billion people, only one you. Life offers us many opportunities and learning experiences. Are you ready to explore and discover this beautiful planet, the life and energy all around us, the spiritual world, and what is unseen, along with your own personal soul adventure? Marc Lainhart, the intuitive prospector, is the spiritual connection you have been prospecting for. Internationally known as a tested and professional clairvoyant medium and spiritual advisor, Marc's work as a metaphysical teacher, medical instructor, radio show host, inspirational writer, and hiking guide are here to help you on a journey of self-discovery, healing, inspiration, education, and a whole lot of spiritual awesomeness. Dare to dream, dare to explore, dare to live. For more information on Marc's spiritual practice in Seattle, Washington, please visit marclainhart.com or internet search The Intuitive Prospector.